If you've raised a puppy, you know the drill. You spend all day trying to guess when they need to go outside, only to turn your back for a moment and find a fresh puddle on the floor. We can eliminate this guesswork entirely. By pairing a physical potty bell with biological scheduling and proper chemical cleanup, you can build a direct, reliable communication system with your dog. To build this system, you only need 4 specific items: a set of dog-safe hanging bells, a high-value spreadable treat like peanut butter, a standard leash, and a pet-specific enzymatic urine cleaner. Transitioning from hopeful guessing to this structured framework protects your home's floors and accelerates your puppy's house training timeline. Before we touch the bell, we have to look at this anatomical diagram. Notice what happens when food enters the puppy's stomach. It triggers the gastrocolic reflex, an involuntary nerve signal that initiates a wave of muscular contractions down the colon. Because of this biology, a puppy is physically forced to eliminate roughly 15 to 30 minutes after eating. As the diagram shifts, you can see the formula used by veterinary behaviorists to calculate resting bladder capacity, the month plus 1 rule. Take your puppy's age in months, add 1, and that equals the absolute maximum number of hours they can physically hold their bladder while resting. There is a strict exception for toy breeds. Because of their tiny physical bladders and extremely high metabolic rates, limit their maximum holding capacity to exactly 1 hour per month of age. This microscopic footage illustrates another critical biological boundary: parvovirus. This highly contagious pathogen rapidly attacks the developing cells of an unvaccinated puppy, making public spaces extremely dangerous. Because puppies do not complete their core vaccinations until they are 16 weeks old, restrict all of their potty breaks to private, secure yards or areas with minimal dog traffic. Knowing these internal clocks and physical limits is the foundation of our protocol. Mechanical training fails if the animal is pushed past its biological boundaries. Now we condition the bell. Lay the bell flat on the floor and smear a high-value lure, like a dab of peanut butter, directly onto the metal. Let the puppy approach and investigate it on their own. Create an immediate reward loop. The exact second your puppy's nose nudges the bell and makes a jingle sound, offer enthusiastic praise and a small treat. Once the puppy reliably bumps the bell on the floor, move it to the environment. Hang the bell from the doorknob of your most frequently used exit, making sure the bottom rests right at the puppy's nose level. Next, we map the full sequence. The puppy nudges the hanging bell. You immediately give a cheerful verbal cue, like outside, and then you open the door instantly. Executing this precise cause and effect loop repeatedly teaches the puppy that this strange ringing object is actually an environmental control switch that opens the door. The moment that door opens, you must place the puppy on a leash and walk them directly to a boring, designated potty spot. This split-screen image shows how to respond based on the puppy's actions. On the left, the puppy eliminates, and the handler immediately celebrates and offers a treat. On the right, the puppy tries to initiate play, so the handler stands completely still, remains quiet, and ignores the behavior. If your puppy does not eliminate within a few minutes of ringing the bell, calmly turn around and bring them back indoors without any fanfare or treats. Enforcing these strict behavioral boundaries prevents the dog from manipulating the system. They learn the bell is specifically a request for a toilet break, not a ticket to recess. Accidents will still happen during the learning phase. Never use verbal scolding or physical punishment. It creates fear and actively causes behavioral regression. Instead, focus on strict physical cleanup. Take a clean cloth and press down firmly to blot the liquid. Never rub the spot, which simply forces the uric acid deeper into the material. Looking at this cross-section diagram of carpet fibers and padding, you can see how an enzymatic or hydrogen peroxide cleaner must be applied. You need a wide perimeter soak that penetrates past the surface, reaching down to neutralize the glowing uric acid proteins trapped deep inside the pad. As the time-lapse shows, the chemical reaction requires prolonged contact. Let the solution dwell for the full time recommended on the bottle to completely dissolve those odor-causing proteins. If a previously trained ubby suddenly begins having accidents again, check this graphic. Straining to urinate, frequent indoor accidents, discolored urine, or excessive licking are all clinical signs of a urinary tract infection. Sudden regression is often a physiological failure, requiring a vet visit, rather than a behavioral issue. Defending your training progress requires this dual approach: destroying hidden olfactory triggers with proper chemicals, and ruling out underlying medical roadblocks with your veterinarian. You now have a complete 3-pillar system. You are aligning with the puppy's biological clock, establishing clear mechanical cues with the bell, and utilizing chemical eradication for any mistakes. Keep your training sessions short, generally under 15 minutes, use high-value rewards, and maintain absolute consistency every single time that bell rings. By sticking to this protocol, you establish a reliable, stress-free communication channel that respects your home and fulfills your dog's physical needs. If this guide helped you set up your bell training system, subscribe to the channel for more step-by-step training breakdowns, and let us know your puppy's progress in the comments below. Dogs have a basic biological need to relieve themselves, but they lack a built-in way to tell us when that time comes. This leaves owners trying to decode subtle pacing, a random bark, or scratching at the door before an accident happens. A potty bell system replaces that vague guessing game with a definitive, audible signal. By training your dog to ring a bell, you give them a clear voice. To set this up, you need 3 tools: a bell hung from your doorknob, high-value training treats, and a designated outdoor relief zone. Giving your dog this specific auditory trigger turns a stressful household dynamic into a proactive, 2-way communication channel, no matter your dog's age or background. Start by hanging the bell on the exterior door you use most often. Adjust the strap or mount so the bells sit perfectly level with your dog's nose. Smear a tiny amount of a dog-safe lure, like peanut butter, directly onto the metal. This encourages your dog to step forward and investigate the object on their own. The absolute millisecond their nose nudges the bell and it jingles, mark the action with a positive verbal cue, like yes, and immediately hand them a training treat. After a few successful repetitions, wipe the peanut butter off the bell, hold the bell toward them, and use the verbal command touch, rewarding them as soon as they make contact. This first phase isolates the physical action. You are building a reliable mechanical habit of hitting the bell before connecting it to the outdoors. Once your dog reliably touches the bell on command, cue them to ring it right as you reach for the doorknob. Open the door the exact moment it chimes, linking the sound to the door opening. Clip on their leash and walk them directly to your designated bathroom spot. Stand completely still and keep your energy neutral, giving them time to focus on doing their business. If you start playing fetch or running around during these trips, you risk poisoning the cue. Your dog will quickly learn the bell is an on-demand pass for outdoor playtime, and they will ring it constantly. If they successfully go to the bathroom, instantly deliver a high-value treat and praise. If they don't go within a few minutes, walk them straight back inside without any fuss. Strictly dividing the concept of bathroom time from playtime ensures your dog only interacts with the bell when they actually need to empty their bladder. While your dog learns the system, you still need to actively manage their biological schedule. A puppy cannot be expected to ring the bell consistently until their internal organs mature. Looking at this formula, a puppy's maximum resting bladder capacity is their age in months plus 1. A 3-month-old puppy maxes out at 4 hours. As the diagram updates for toy breeds, you drop the +1, leaving a strict 1-hour capacity per month of age. Eating triggers the gastrocolic reflex, which predictably forces the lower digestive tract to clear space within 30 minutes. By pairing the behavioral mechanics of the bell with these predictable internal timers, you eliminate the guesswork and set your dog up for immediate success. Because true voluntary sphincter control takes up to 16 weeks to physically develop, early indoor accidents are an unavoidable part of the process. Scrubbing these accidents with hot water or using steam cleaners or standard household chemicals actually bakes the uric proteins directly into your carpet fibers. To break down those uric salts, you must use a specialized enzymatic or hydrogen peroxide-based cleaner designed specifically for pet waste. This diagram shows how urine spreads outward and deep into the padding underneath. Your liquid cleaner must be poured heavily enough to match that exact volume and penetrate those subsurface layers. Erasing these invisible chemical markers removes the lingering odor. This stops your dog's deep biological instinct to return to that spot and continuously remark the territory. Over the long term, you must protect this routine. Maintain the immediate reaction time when the bell rings, and firmly enforce the boundary between bathroom trips and backyard play. You can gradually stop handing out high-value treats for every successful trip. The act of ringing the bell and gaining access to the yard eventually becomes its own self-sustaining reward. Aligning clear behavioral training with an understanding of canine biology solves the daily friction of potty training, resulting in a reliable communication system that lasts for your dog's entire life.